All right, welcome back, guys. It's time to go ahead and tear this bottom end down and split this case.
We're going to send the crank out, get a new rod pressed on, get it trued up, and also got to send the cylinder out to get it replated and re-chromed. So it may be a few weeks, maybe even next year, before we get part 3 out of the RM rebuild.
But thanks for watching. If you like the content, be sure to hit the subscribe button below, and thanks for watching.
Alright guys, what we're going to do first is we're going to remove the outer clutch cover and the inner clutch cover. Good idea too, there's still a little bit of oil left inside the engine, is to lift the motor up on the side. Alright guys, what I recommend doing, just laying you down some old rags, helps keep the mess down, because you're going to have oil come out whenever you flip the engine back over. Time to remove the inner clutch cover. Alright guys, looks like that's the last two of the bolts. Just grab a hold of the cover, pull it off. We'll take all your power valve gears off. Be very careful because there's little roller bearings in there. Alright, once that's out of the way, we're going to remove the 6 8mm bolts holding the clutch pressure plate on. Alright guys, once all these bolts are loose and free, just pull out all the springs, set them aside. Next step is pull the pressure plate off. And once you get that removed, get a little pancake bearing with an actuator. And then you got the rod, clutch rod, right through the middle. Always trick to get it off with a magnet. Next step is you want to get all your friction and steel plates out of the clutch. Then we're going to have to remove this bolt holding the clutch hub on. There's a washer on here that's got 2 tabs bent over. What you want to do is get you a punch, and you're going to flatten that washer back out. The next step, once you got the bolt loosened up on the clutch, is you don't want to remove it yet. Take your washer and find out what way your thread go. So in this case, it looks like we're going to put it right here on top. This will lock the 2 gears together and let you get this bolt off with using hand tools. You want to stick the washer in there, that way it's locked. All right, once you got the crank gear bolt broke loose, it's a good idea to leave your washer in, flip the motor over, and then go ahead and break loose the nut holding the flywheel on. Looks like someone equipped this with a flywheel weight. So what you want to do is you want to twist it the opposite way, and it should come right off. Next step is you want to remove the flywheel. So you have to get you a flywheel puller, reverse threaded. Threads on like so. This is a 17mm socket. Got 3 8mm bolts to hold the stator on. Might as well go ahead and take the case saver off too. It's 2 8mm. There's your ignition stator. And then go and pull the case saver off. Next thing you want to do is remove the snap ring. Holds the sprocket on. Just pull the sprocket off. And you can get this clutch actuator out of the way. It just slides right out. Once you get all that removed from the other side, you flip her back over and remove all your clutch components. Right, the next thing what we want to take out is your Kickstarter gear. Make sure it all comes off in one piece. Try to keep it all this stuff together too. Makes things easier for reassembly. We got the Kickstart idler gear. Little circlip on there. You got your shift shaft. Should just pull right out. Don't forget to take your crankshaft gear off. Alright, last thing you want to do before you start splitting the case is to pull this power valve actuator rod out. It comes out just like that. Alright, what you want to do is you want to flip the motor over on the other side and take all the 8mm bolts out that hold the cases together. Get one of the last bolts loosened up here, guys. It's time to pull them all out. All right, guys, once you get all the bolts out of it, I'm gonna grab a crankcase splitter. Tusk makes these, and they're a lifesaver. Pretty much what you want to do, what this tool does is it mounts to the side of the crankcase. When you tighten it up, it pushes the crank off. All right, we got the tusk crankcase separator installed. We're now gonna pull this side crankcase off the crank. Sometimes you might have to tap it on this side and make it come off even. Next thing you want to do is you want to get your shift forks out, and then your transmission, then you can pull the other crank side off. Make sure you try to keep the transmission together the way it comes apart. Last step is just to push the crank through. Just like that, the crank's out.